with the in-depth look into the papers, the main news stories of the day. Let's go to the I paper, Leo.
So the I has Tories warned over fiddling with green policies while roads burn. So there's forest fires, wildfires and roads at the moment, which, as we've already discussed, is weather and not climate. So there's no, it's not an indication of climate change or anything getting worse. It's just, if anything, it's because there's too many trees. We've got too many trees. We need to cut these trees down, then they won't be able to burn us. But basically, they're trying to whip up hysteria over this. They're saying amid devastating wildfires and an extreme heat wave across Europe. We left Europe, obviously, so we don't get a chunk of that. The Prime Minister has been warned it would be a mistake to tone down green policies, because that would make a sort of what colour would that would make? Lilac. Yeah, it'd be like this shirt. So at the moment, the Prime Minister is looking again at sort of green policies because they're going to cost people a lot of money. And also, extreme weather. It's not really hitting Britain as badly as it's hitting, some other places. If we get extreme weather in the UK, we get extreme drizzle, which is just rain. And, if temperatures rise by 1.6 degrees, that just means that people in Scotland have to undo the top button on their duffel coat. It's not the end of the world in Britain. And the sort of green policies, like switching everybody over to these heat pumps and stuff like that, it costs loads of money. And what we sort of ignore with the whole fossil fuel thing is all our lifestyles, all the great things that we have, including, access to cheap and abundant food and clothing and transport and everything in our lives is due to the exploitation of fossil fuels.
I mean, even if we did get our energy from elsewhere, we'd still have to use oil to produce lubricants.
Yeah.
Victor, your take on this story? Are you worried by the rest of Europe burning?
I'm not worried by it at all. I feel that the Tories are using this disaster to just make money, because I looked into it some more and the police over there suspect arsonists. So
there we go.
But just to slightly counter that, for balance and all the stuff that we're meant to do, if you, as an arsonist, set fire to a tree, you burn a tree. But for it to absolutely go across all of the tinder-dry forest,
but the
arsonist didn't go around deliberately hair-drying everything to make it dry.
Yeah, but in that country, if you do set fire to a tree, the chances are it could start a bushfire.
Yeah, it's summertime.
What we're trying to say is it's not necessarily the weather that's caused this.
So what would, and this could, we can both have a crack, all three have a crack answer in this, what would you have to see to think, oh yeah, this is a climate issue?
I'll have to see.
We're seeing increased amounts of extreme weather, so that for you doesn't prove anything.
Well, are we seeing increased amounts of extreme weather? I mean, all the weather stations tend to be, because we've urbanised so many places, weather stations that used to be in a field are now surrounded by tarmac. So obviously that's going to increase the temperature measured by that weather station.
It's like in the 90s when they moved them. So if we just look at the data from the 90s, seeing an increase in the top temperatures, does that prove anything?
Well, if the government was to do something where the companies have to fall back on some of the influence that they're having on the weather, then I'll say, OK, now it's a serious issue. But if all you're going to do is penalise the public, then it just seems like a money-making exercise.
Yeah.
And also, if we go back through history, has the climate ever changed? I mean, is it something that sometimes just happens regardless of whether I drive my Audi to Swindon?